Colonel Sanders apparently in here. And by the way, I would like to show you something about this particular clip of Glenn Beck posted by him on his channel, which has 610,000 subscribers. I'm just reminding everybody to like and subscribe and give us a thumbs up. I mean, come on. I know it's a fledgling show. I haven't been on for years and years and years. They've been on for 20 years or some shit. They've been on YouTube since it existed. So understood. Takes time. I get it. But 8,557 views and you got 610,000 subscribers. I kind of call bullshit. The suspenders are a nice touch and a knitted tie. All right. Not exactly a power tie unless you're Amish, I suppose. But this is titled Glenn Tears into Biden's Afghanistan Success Speech. And obviously he's taking the whole thing incredibly seriously as he's going to tear into it because he's smiling as we open the clip. It's all a big joke to Glenn Beck. I mean, what are we really talking about here? It's not a big deal. And what do you think the odds are he does his voice at some point? Or while Biden's talking and he plays clips, he does his old man voice in there. What do you think? I mean, he's basically got a comedy coin he flips. Let's see. Drink. Here we go.
I don't know about you, but I'm excited. Oh, did you see the president's speech last night or yesterday? Yeah. It was, Pat, did you enjoy it?
Oof.
Yeah.
Like I've enjoyed few things.
Yeah. And Stu, I saw your...
This is either, depending on your intellectual capability, verbal irony or sarcasm, but it's what idiots have instead of a sense of humor.
Last night, I thought you were going to have a brain hemorrhage.
I did in the middle of the show.
But he had a missing organ that makes that impossible.
Surprised you could talk.
If you can detect, I am still a little raspy. I lost it, and I basically blew a gasket for 20 straight minutes on this thing last night. It drove me.
I see. So you didn't really listen to it. You were just kind of screaming through the whole thing. You just yelled over top of everything. That's for 20 minutes straight. I see. Sounds well balanced intellectually and psychologically. I can't wait to hear his take on everything.
I know we try to avoid the word now, but I think it applies. He's just evil.
Yes, Biden's just evil. He's also incompetent and isn't actually running anything, and someone else is pulling the strings, and probably Kamala Harris through Barack Obama, and that means Hillary Clinton. But he's evil. Just evil.
Evil incarnate.
He's not a good guy.
Evil incarnate. And then Stu comes in with the hard hit. He's not a good guy.
He's not.
I mean, I watched that last night. He does not care.
He doesn't
care
not
at all about what's going to happen to these people.
Yeah.
About the interpreter that actually helped him specifically in 2008, who is still stuck.
Are you going to post the picture like Laura Ingraham did so that the Taliban and folks know who he is and where he is? No? Well, that's nice. That's better, I suppose.
The country, he does not care. Doesn't care.
I don't think any...
I'm sorry. Do you want him to come here? How many... you guys, you do realize you have to go into a whole diatribe about how you want to welcome Afghans to this country for their own safety, especially the interpreters and their families. You do realize you have to go into that so that anybody watching doesn't know you're incredibly full of shit and hypocritical and really didn't give a fuck until you thought you could use it as leverage against Biden.
People do, quite honestly. I really don't. I don't think many of the people who are in Washington, and especially those who are the ones who are claiming all this woke crap, they don't have any empathy. They don't.
Yeah, that's the big sign of people who are woke, is the lack of empathy.
Of empathy.
Sorry, what kind of empathy are you talking about? I mean, you were for the May 1st date, allegedly, of Trump's, where there was no plan to get the interpreters or anybody else out?
And I don't think President Biden has it. And, I don't know if I'm going to go down the evil road with you. But
Join me. Join me. There's plenty of room.
Join me. Join me. Now at the end. All right. Here's a cut one from Joe Biden.
Last night in Kabul, the United States ended 20 years of war in Afghanistan. the longest war in American history.
Okay, it's not.
point.
It's
Completed
not.
one of the biggest airlifts in history.
Oh my
More
God.
than 120,000 people evacuated to safety.
I want to see the.
What is he going to say, that the Korean War is longer? Is that the argument? Because we have a base in Okinawa, so technically World War II hasn't ended.
Do that.
That number is more than double what most experts felt were possible.
Oh yeah,
No nation,
you're twice as good
no
as
nation
possible.
has ever done anything like.
And again, this is why they have a hard time with it. And again, I don't have a problem with you going through the speech like I do with clips and breaking it down. But what they do is they talk over it because they're afraid of you hearing what is said. I'm not afraid of you hearing what is said in any of the clips I play. That's why I pause them. Yeah, it takes longer. This is why on radio and stuff you play cuts, and then when you come back from it, you editorialize, you give your point of view on it. But Glenn and his crowd have to talk over what they're playing, because if you actually hear what's going on, you might actually agree with it, and it would make their blather sound like bullshit to even their supporters.
In all of history.
They didn't have to. Other
Only the
countries
United
don't
States
have to do that.
had the capacity and the will and the ability to do it, and we did it today. The extraordinary success of this mission
Extraordinary
was due to
success.
the incredible skill,
It's-
bravery, and selfless courage of the United States military and our diplomats and intelligence professionals.
See, again, they jibber jabber over the top of it because they're toddlers. I mean, old bloated toddlers who never skip dessert. And boy, did Glenn get back quickly from the Middle East somewhere. So right now, the airlift is over, the 31st is over, and Glenn just decided to pack it in. There are people still over there, supposedly, according to them, and Glenn's no longer a part of the whole Nazarene mission or whatever it was to get Christians out of the country and only Christians. So if you're a Christian and your wife is Muslim and hasn't converted yet or whatever, you're going to have to leave her behind. They sure as shit got back fast.
Success argument is the most incoherent thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
It's like saying like, hey, we were playing with matches and gasoline in the house, and then we successfully evacuated out of the third story window by jumping to safety. Well,
It's a great analogy. So the entire Stu, if I may, the analogy is that the 20 years of the Afghan war was that we were playing with matches. And let me help you out. Let me flesh out this analogy for you. So the last 20 years has been us playing with matches in the house being Afghanistan. And then obviously fucking around with matches for that long, you're going to set fire to the house. And then eventually when you leave, you're not going to be able to leave through the front door because arguably the first floor is on fire, the second floor is on fire. So you get to the third floor and you're going to have to jump out a fucking window. And it's going to be messy, but your choices are to burn to death or jump out a third floor window. And you jump out the third floor window to save your own life, to avoid the fire. And someone is there across the street calling you an idiot for not coming out the front door of a burning house. Is that where we're going?
wow, what a congratulations, I guess, is what I would say to that.
Imagine Ronald Reagan making this speech.
Well, I can't because Ronald Reagan was busy doing Iran-Contra. So he would, if he made this speech, he would have gone, I don't recall. Let's see. Reagan ran Contra Oval Office. That should probably find it, right? Let's see. Something like this.
My fellow Americans, I have spoken to you from this historic office on many occasions and about many things. The power of the presidency is often thought to reside within this Oval Office. Yet it doesn't rest here. It rests in you, the American people, and in you.
this is your fault.
Trust. Your trust is what gives a president his powers of leadership and his personal strength. And it's what I want to talk to you about this evening. For the past 3 months, I've been silent on the revelations about Iran. You must have been thinking, well, why doesn't he tell us what's happening? Why doesn't he just speak
3 months. Why doesn't he just tell us? It's 3 months.
to us as he has in the past when we've faced troubles or tragedies? Others of you, I guess, were thinking, what's he doing hiding out in the White House? Well, the reason I haven't spoken to you before
None of us were thinking that.
is this. You deserve the truth. And as frustrating as the waiting has been, I felt it was improper to come to you with sketchy reports or possibly even erroneous statements, which would then have to be corrected, creating even more doubt and confusion. There's been enough of that.
Yeah.
Paid a price for my silence in terms of your trust and confidence. But I've had to wait, as you have, for the complete story. That's why I appointed Ambassador David Abshire as my special counselor to help get out the thousands of documents to the various investigations. And I appointed a special review board, the Tower Board, which took on the chore of pulling the truth together for me and getting to the bottom of things.
Yes, pulling the truth together for me.
Now issued its findings. I'm often accused of being an optimist, and it's true. I had to hunt pretty hard to find any good news in the board's report. As you know, it's well stocked with criticisms, which I'll discuss in a moment. But I was very relieved to read this sentence. The board is convinced that the president does indeed want the full story to be told. And that will continue to be my pledge to you as the other investigations go forward. I want to thank
The other investigations go forward.
members of the panel, former John...
His own investigative panel decided that he wanted you to hear everything about Iran-Contra. The actual congressional ones, not so much.
Senator John Tower, former Secretary of State Edmund Muskie, and former National Security Advisor Brent Scowcroft. They have done the nation, as well as me personally, a great service by submitting
Me personally.
a report of such integrity and depth. They have my genuine and enduring gratitude. I've studied the board's report. Its findings are honest, convincing, and highly critical, and I accept them. Tonight, I want to share with you my thoughts on these findings and report to you on the actions I'm taking to implement the board's recommendations. First, let me say I take full responsibility for my own actions and for those of my administration. As angry as I may be about activities undertaken without my knowledge, I am still accountable for those activities. As disappointed as I may be in some who serve me, I am still the one who must answer to the American people for this.
That's weird. Why is he blaming all these other people and not taking, while he says he's taking responsibility and the buck stops with him, why is he blaming all these other people?
And as personally distasteful as I find secret bank accounts and diverted funds, as the Navy would say, this happened on my watch. Let's start with the part that is the most controversial. A few months ago, I told the American people I did not trade arms for hostages. My heart and my best intentions still tell me that's true.
My heart and my best intentions. My brain and my document signing hand, however.
Facts and the evidence tell me it is not. As the Tower Board reported, what began as a strategic opening to Iran deteriorated in its implementation into trading arms for hostages.
All right, there we go. So again, should we go back to Laura Ingraham talking about how you can't make a deal with the terrorist organization? Lindsey Graham, I keep getting them mixed up. Lindsey Graham saying you can't make deals with terrorist organizations? All right. Anyways, please continue, guys.
Today, we all watched as the Space Shuttle Challenger reached its greatest moment. This is a great day for NASA. Now, many people will focus on the explosion, but that teacher that went up, she went higher than anyone else in the and that's what we promised, that she would be the first in space. And we are just going to keep on going because nothing went wrong.
And no nation has ever picked up so many individual pieces of a space shuttle in such a short period of time.
I see. So the 123,000 people who evacuated, men, women, and children, Afghans and American service people and stuff, are, according to Stu and Glenn Beck, shrapnel. They are junk. They are evidence that they were elements of an explosion. Like, I mean, these guys have always been analogy challenged, but this is gross.
You don't dare question me about the solid rocket, the solid fuel boosters. How dare you say there might be something wrong with the O-rings?
I know they're fascinated by this analogy and they think they've actually hit on something. But they would be better to go back to one of the NASA things where people were injured, and if NASA gave we think it was a win overall because we learned a lot, and there's things we would have done differently, but we feel like we've successfully tested this piece of machinery. There were a bunch of those. None of them really made the news, but everyone died in the Challenger explosion. Everyone.
Yeah.
Do you know how many fish we saved from falling space shuttle debris?
Jeez.
That's
more than a...
What? I mean, keep digging, Stu. I love that they think this analogy works, because you do realize that you have to kind of factor in that Trump's, if you follow this analogy, Trump's plan was to never launch the Challenger and just blow it up on the ground. But also make sure there were plenty of service people near it all the time while it was on fire. While it continued to smolder, send in more astronauts. I mean, if you're gonna like create such a bullshit analogy, at least follow it through.
Been saved
more than have ever been saved
in American history.
That is what he's doing.
And if this is an extraordinary success, what does failure look like to this guy?
Failure looks like Trump leaving office with everybody still there, telling us yesterday that he was bullshitting about May 1st, that his drawdown would have taken 2 more years, that the Taliban's deal to not kill Americans would have expired, and they would have gone back to killing Americans as of, I guess, May 2nd or the 31st, depending on the punt or not, and that we would have just stayed in Afghanistan another 4 years and another 64 Americans / 1,000 Americans, because we'd have to put 10,000 troops on the ground to defend the base and defend all the other bases if we were going to stay in the country like Trump had planned. That's what failure looks like. Failure is all the people who never got us out. The standard of could this have been done better only works if you have a version where it was tried or someone pulled it off to compare it to. And you have none, because Trump was a nutless scrotum and a coward.
I hate to see it. I would hate to see what...
Let me tell you something. I wish, and I may show this picture on tonight's broadcast.
Uh-oh. Emotional Glenn.
When you have seen the concertina wire, the razor wire that was all over the gates of the airport and all around the border fence.
Yeah.
When you see that, and we've seen pictures of people throwing their babies over that fence, right?
Yeah.
No, you've seen them handing their babies to American soldiers. I don't know that anybody threw their baby over a barbed wire fence. Honest to God. I sure hope somebody's there to catch you. Yeah. What are you talking about? Who the fuck you never saw anybody throwing their baby over a concertina wire fucking cement wall? What kind of, was it laces out? Did they get a good spiral? What the fuck are you talking about? Show the picture of the dude throwing his baby. You mean tossing them up to someone because they couldn't reach?
Marines catching them. What you
Yeah, just catching them. Just boom. They're giving out a new Heisman Trophy.
haven't seen are the pictures that I have seen of the babies that fell into the wire and then fought their way out and didn't.
What the fuck is with the audio on that? The babies that fell into the wire and fought their way out?
Make it. I've seen those photos. You need to understand how bad this situation was.
Yeah, it was us leaving Afghanistan after 20 fucking years. But that problem isn't because it was handled poorly. It was just that it occurred. There is no circumstance where you don't have to put razor wire on top of the fence. There is no circumstance where we're leaving Afghanistan for good, where people aren't going to rush to the airport. There isn't. And even you can't make the case that there wouldn't be. All you can make the case for is that if we're going to evacuate people from Afghanistan, it should only be Christians, verifiable Christians that are apparently on some list from the Nazarene group.
Okay? Anytime he says this was a success, I want you to remember the image that you now have in your head.
No, you don't get to put like a magic, parkour baby where you're just, in my head, I see a baby flying through the air, getting caught in concertina wire, crawling out, but dying anyways. Randomly. Because America decided to leave Afghanistan. I'm sorry. Is it wrong that I also picture the soldier with a catcher's mitt? This is a serious situation, and I refuse to let this asshole paint mental pictures in your fucking head. Show the goddamn picture. Blur out parts of it. And if it's a picture, show me the fucking video before and after. Show me where it's the part of the airport that we're controlling versus the part of the airport that the Taliban is controlling. Don't paint a picture in people's fucking heads, you coward. Show it.
This was not a success.
Yes, it was. Because it's a success within the realm of possibility. It wasn't the magic success of if only Donald Trump had been allowed to do this, if only people had listened to Donald Trump, and he was the one who created if they'd have just followed his breadcrumb plan down the Sugar Plum Freeway, and you make a left and get on the yellow brick road, and then it's basically 2 lights and you're there.
By any stretch of the imagination, and people need.
But here, you know what a stretch of the imagination is? You telling people to envision in their head babies being thrown into concertina wire, crawling out themselves and dying because Marines were not catching them, or people were just throwing their babies into that and going, keep that in your head. That's the stretch of imagination. Get the fuck out of here.
Be held accountable, because if this is.
Yes. When is Joe Biden going to be held accountable for the fantasy I'm painting in your head? Get the fuck out.
Allowed to stand, and these people are allowed to just continue on with no ramifications.
Well, no, there's a ramification. There's an election in a couple of years. Don't forget to vote. Make sure you register.
You do not want to see what our military will turn into.
What? Yeah. Bad. What? They're going to turn in their catcher's mitts? The fuck are you talking about? You think our military are going to be less capable, less caring, less resolute, weaker? What the fuck are you talking about? This asshole flew to a 5-star hotel in Qatar to do his report for 2 days, while other people flew commercial flights out for private Afghans charging $2,000 a seat when it was $147 to fly to Delhi. And our military are fucking weak? Honest to God. We're just supposed to We're just supposed to believe that, like, anything this asshole or Stu or whatever the crusty dude next to him says is meaningful on any scale.
I am telling you now, we will become the darkest force ever.
What the fuck? When did we become the first order of the empire? The darkest force? What? We're going to be the Nazis now because Glenn Beck painted a picture of women chucking babies into razor wire. So now our soldiers are fucking Nazis? The fuck are you talking about?
Ever to walk the earth.
Ever. Fuck the Mongolians. Genghis Khan killed 1 million people in one day, but that's nothing compared to what we're just going to refuse to catch all the babies chucked our way. Fuck off. I'm seriously, this is far too serious a situation to take anything the stickheads said seriously. What, the darkest force?
With our technology and our resources, with our fighting machine that soon can be run robotically.
Yes, we're this close to sending robots into war zones, and the robots will be saying, "Throw your baby to me, throw your baby this way," and people will chuck their baby like that and go, "Psych." I don't know what he's talking. Like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
We will make the Nazis look like rookies.
Okay, I notice it's your first day on the force there, Klaus. Yes, I'm very nervous about this whole thing. I've been a brown shirt for a couple of days, but it's my first day in the SS, and I don't know what to do. Don't worry, I'm a U.S. Marine. If anybody can teach a Nazi how to do what's right, it's me. Fuck. Huh? We get out of Afghanistan, and suddenly our soldiers are Nazis? The fuck are you talking about?
If you are listening to me and you are in the military, you need to stand up today.
You're not their superior officer. Maybe they've been told to be at ease. Maybe. Why do you have to stand up? What do you mean? Fight back against your drill sergeant or your leadership? What the fuck are you talking? What is this? What is this? What are you asking for? You're going to be turned into robot automatons if you start doing shit like following orders. What?
You need to demand accountability. Do you know the only one that has paid and had to pay for accountability is the Marine colonel that stood up?
Yeah, the guy who was actually calling for an insurrection, was being insubordinate, questioned his leadership on video instead of personally. And by the way, if you're in the military, don't listen to Glenn Beck. Do not go on fucking Instagram and shit talk your superior officers. You will not continue in the military, because I'm just saying that's how you have a fighting force fall apart in the face of an enemy, not stick together. So yeah, anyways.
He's the only one that's been held accountable for anything.
Well, that's because he's the only one that did anything wrong. Actively wrong.
This must not continue.
It's not going to continue. We're out. I mean, I know. I thought you were talking about the Afghan war. No, the whole the bullshit where you were pretending to give a fuck about people in Afghanistan. Yeah, that ended yesterday on the 31st. Like, you don't. Yeah, you don't actually. We know you don't give a fuck. We know you stopped caring. You're back here. I mean, it's over. So 31st came, and I mean, there's people in country who might need help getting out, and there's people arranging for that and trying to help those people or whatever. You're not one of them, obviously. You don't give a shit about Christians trapped in Afghanistan. Obviously, that caring had a expiration date. Your love of Afghan Christians aged like milk.
Listen, by the way, in hour number 2, because I'm going to give you some real stats.
I don't doubt it. Right. Let me guess. you have a 54-inch waist, and your collar vacillates based on the amount of Jell-O.
All right, cut to.
The Taliban has made public commitments,
Oh my
broadcast on television and radio across Afghanistan.
Why don't you say so?
On safe passage for anyone wanting to leave,
great.
including those who
Right?
worked alongside America.
God. Stop.
Now, stop, look. Just because it's actually working.
If they made TV announcement, then
And radio. Don't
Right.
forget radio.
yeah.
Yeah, and there are no assholes on radio. I feel seen.
I mean,
And the
it's like-
Taliban, talk radio can't be trusted, but the Taliban can be trusted on radio.
Now, I don't know if they've tweeted it. I know they still have access to their Twitter accounts, but I don't know if they tweeted it.
Last night, I was getting a report from What's Going On, and
Oh, is that a newspaper? What's going on? Can you subscribe to What's Going On?
I can't give you any details, but
Because it's a subscription-based service, and you click the terms of service, and that's part of it. I can't give you any details or any pictures, but I want you to imagine, if you will, that what I'm saying is true.
I will tell you this. The
Yes, my anonymous sources.
Taliban cares less about the people who were helping 20 years ago and translating. They still will kill them, but they are.
But they won't have sex with the corpse afterwards. They're still they care less. They'll kill you, but then they're after you're dead. They're just gonna. That's just them getting warmed up.
Actively hunting for those people who have translated for us in the last 5 years. And anyone who says, oh, they're going to let them through their checkpoint.
Well, there you go. There's Glenn's dumb guy voice. And this is a good look for you, Glenn. This is how we all imagine you look inside every time you see a mirror.
Doesn't know their ass from their elbow. They have
I'm sorry. Who didn't know their ass from their elbow? What?
translated for us in the last 5 years. And anyone who says, oh, they're going to let them through their checkpoint, doesn't know their ass from their elbow. They have no idea what's going on, or they are lying. So, Mr. President, which one is it?
Well, let's see. Where's a good one? I'm trying to find one with an interview. Okay, that's older. Hold on. Afghanistan. How many refugees are there, and where will they go? Thousands of people are scrambling to flee Afghanistan after the Taliban seized back control of the country almost 2 decades ago. There's now the United Nations has warned that up to 500,000 Afghans could flee the country by the end of the year. Well, no, obviously you don't know your ass from your elbow. They're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to be let through. And it's called on neighboring countries to keep their borders open. Current crisis comes on top of the 2.2 million Afghan refugees already in neighboring countries, and the 3.5 million people forced to flee their homes within Afghanistan's borders. So somewhere between 2.2 and 3.5 million people in combination, both directions, have or are fleeing and are going past Taliban checkpoints. Let's see. More than 120,000 people were airlifted out of Kabul airport after Taliban took control. There's the people. This is how they went. The height of the operation, U.S. said its military planes were departing the airport every 39 minutes. We know about that. What happened? What's happening on the border? The Taliban control all the mainland crossing points within Afghan's neighbors. And reports suggest they are only allowing traders or those with valid travel documents to leave the country, which are the people that we have. However, many of those trying to flee because they fear for their safety under the Taliban rule will not have any paperwork. The UN has urged Afghanistan's neighbor to keep their borders open to refugees and called on the international community to support those. Taliban-controlled crossings. Here. Taliban-controlled airports, 4 of them. But Uzbekistan, which borders the north of Afghanistan, has said its main crossing point is closed to ensure security and that there are no plans to open it. That's why we're flying people in. Pakistan has the longest border with Afghanistan, has also said it will not accept refugees, with its U.S. ambassador telling the BBC, we are already overburdened by refugees and it is beyond our capacity to host any more refugees. Last week, satellite imagery of the Spin Boldak crossing point between Afghanistan and Pakistan showed a large crowd of people gathered on the Afghan side. That's right there. This is last week. Okay. How many have fled their homes? So let's see. Where do the refugees go? Okay. 1.4 million have gone to Pakistan. 780,000 have gone to Iran. Germany took 181,000. Turkey took 129,300. Austria's got 46,000. France has 45,000. Greece has 41,000. Sweden's got 31,000. Switzerland has 15,400. India has 15,000. Italy has 13,000. UK has 12,600. Australia has 12,400. Belgium has 8,000. And Indonesia has 7,000. Germany was third with 180,000. What are countries doing to help? UN has called on its member states, both Pakistan and Iran, saying they cannot cope with the further influx of Afghan refugees. Turkish security forces patrolling their border with Iran help an exhausted Afghan family. Oh, look at a little pudding. Oh, look, concertina wire. They have to replace this every day because of all the babies that get caught in it, and then they have to throw them back if they're not big enough. They're not keepers. I don't know what the fishing rules are. Danger lies on Kabul road to freedom. Here you go. Look at this, people throwing people in. Oh, this is the airport. This is old. Here's the airport. Checkpoint scene in Interior Ministry. Crowds gathered at airport's main entrance. Taliban set up checkpoints on the airport road. Taliban fighters have controlled the exterior of the airport. Let's see. A woman was injured on her way to the airport. People have been scaling the boundary wall of Hamid Karzai International Airport. That's on the civilian side, by the way. Here's people handing children to these things. I don't see any concertina wire. Obviously, this is where the babies are getting caught, so they're having to cut the wire to get the kids out, and then they die anyways, according to these guys. This is not much of a catch. From a sports standpoint, he was clearly caught in a jacket. Sometimes if you don't have a glove big enough. Traffic jams on key routes. There's a bunch of people getting out. Desperate Afghans storm the tarmac. This is on the early parts of that. Okay, so don't know their ass from their elbow. Nobody's getting out. It's a total failure.
Do not really know what's going on? If so, the 25th Amendment should be invoked.
He's serious. He's very serious. He's very upset. He's getting crucial information from what'sgoingon.com, and he's very upset about this. It fucked up his whole audition to be the next Colonel Sanders. And I know Colonel Sanders, and you, sir, know Colonel Sanders.
If you do know what's going on, then you should be impeached for lying to the American people on such a grand scale.
Well, I'm not. I know what's going on, but I don't hold office, so I can't be impeached. All I can do is sit here and call bullshit on what you're saying while you're flipping out and pretending to care.
Is staggering. Finish the clip.
Finish the clip.
Next clip.
Let me be clear. Leaving August the 31st
Oh, this one.
is not due to an arbitrary deadline.
Oh, it's not?
It was designed to save American lives.
Oh, my.
Is
my.
that hard to take?
Oh, my.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
What are you talking about?
It wasn't an arbitrary
my.
deadline. It was based on the Taliban deadline that they told us where there's going to be consequences.
Sorry, if we extend more than 3 months past the negotiated time that Trump negotiated with the Taliban, which Lindsey Graham, I get him and Laura Ingraham mixed up. Lindsey Graham said was negotiating with terrorists.
You're not out by then.
Yeah,
they gave us the red line.
Yeah, it was the Taliban.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What was that Taliban red line based on? 3 months past the agreement with Trump, when we would be out and that they would refute, they wouldn't kill any of our soldiers and shoot on any of our people as long as we left by May 1st. Biden negotiated an extension because no arrangement had been made to get the Afghans out. But let me understand something. All three of these assholes know this and don't give a fuck. Don't let the crocodile tears and the freak out fool you. First of all, none of these fuckers are really for leaving. All of them pretended to be because they supported Trump getting reelected, and he was using it as a reelection point the same way he used it as an election point. But even he was going to bullshit that date on, and it was going to require another 10,000 soldiers if we broke that deadline with the Taliban. They know it. They know it. They know, all three of them, well, they've heard it. It's gone in one ear and out the other, in their eyes and out their ass. But all of these folks know that Trump struck this deal and that the ceasefire would be broken as of August 31st. That was the longest extension we could get that didn't put us into an entirely another cycle of having to put soldiers on the ground.
That deadline was not our deadline.
And I wonder if he used that. It was designed.
No, our deadline was May 1st. But some asshole in the White House last year and his buddy, Stephen Miller, stopped us from getting the people with special immigrant visas out of the goddamn country. And so we had to push. And we pushed it as far as we could.
Save American lives on the Gold Star families that just had 13 of their family members slaughtered.
By the Taliban, by the people that we made a deal with? Is that who did it? Or the people Trump made a deal with? Or was it ISIS-K, who was fighting against the Taliban, wanting to kill Afghans who were trying to leave the country and killing more of our folks, and just used it as a strike point? Did they let them through because they wanted to hasten our retreat and scare the Afghan people, their own people, away from trying to leave because they needed people to run the government? And they were afraid of a brain drain. And if so, staying longer is a smart move. I mean, honestly, can we just stop pretending these assholes give a fuck? This is all for show. Fuck you. These guys are also a part of the Afghanistan is the 51st state, but just no travel visas.
So this was designed to save lives. And in addition to the 13 Marines and Navy personnel, there's 170 others that were killed. You're not doing a very good job of saving lives if that's what this was about.
It couldn't have gone.
I'm sorry. How many would have died if we'd have stayed? Once the ceasefire ends that Trump negotiated, where he released 5,000 Taliban and gave them a new leader out of jail in Pakistan, and undermined the Afghan government and the military and said, you guys can have at it, fuck it, you can work out a peace deal, but I'm not even bringing them to the table. You just promised not to shoot our guys and we're out. What happens when you break that deal in the territory that we're in without 10,000 more troops on the ground?
Better, though. Do we have a Biden retreat speech, earlier evacuations available? Can we do that one? Because this one,
I have to.
Yeah, it's crazy. Gasket. Here we go.
I may not be able to be. I may not be able to be on the air.
Well, Glenn, we all know you're emotionally unstable. Unstableable. We can't put you in the stables. Unstable. And that not only are you nuts, but your coworkers know it, and it's an inside joke in your organization that you lose your shit and are unable to comprehend reality. And the only real joke is that they labor under the false assumption that there's a time when you aren't fucking bananas.
because I have so much to say, and I will get people
And
killed.
none of it makes any sense. I will what? You'll what?
If I say because I have so much to say, and I will get people killed if I say information that I shouldn't, and I also may just kill my entire business if I say what I feel.
Oh, you mean that we should overthrow the U.S. government and murder cops and soldiers in the street and was it you that brought the wood for the fence? Or I mean the gallows and said hang Mike Pence at the Capitol? Was that you? Because that's what he's talking about. This is what I guess this would qualify as what people call toxic masculinity, when guys nutless guys, in an effort to make everybody believe they've got balls, yammer a lot about how tough they are and what they could do. What do you mean? You're gonna lose your show because you're gonna call for the murder of someone. Not because they deserve it, but because intellectually you have a moral on-off switch. You can't operate any other way. By the way, the Mormon Church should be very proud.
So you want to talk about coming close to saying naughty words on television?
Yeah,
I could.
me too,
I
on
was
radio.
so
Naughty words on television. Fuck you.
so many times got halfway down a word and stopped mid-syllable.
Can I say something to you? When you said that, I almost said naughty words. You mean like this? I almost said it just now.
Oh my God. You guys are so close to like cursing and saying.
I told you at the beginning of the show, we were at a full-fledged duct tape alert. And
So you're going to play an air raid siren and you're going to laugh while we're all not taking it seriously enough. And you know inside information that's just horrible. So you're going to put here. I tell you what, I have one of those soundboards too. Glenn, how about this? This is a little more appropriate for you. How about that? How about this? I think that's a little better.
they don't happen very often on the program because we're so numb inside, really, that your head doesn't
Yeah, that's. I think that's mostly diet.
Anymore, but your head just might explode. Here's the next clip from our fearless leader.
Now some say we should have started mass evacuation sooner.
No.
And couldn't this have been done in a more orderly manner?
No.
It was perfect.
I respectfully disagree.
Thank you. Do. Good for you.
Imagine if we'd be
Again, listen to these guys talking over the clip. They're not pausing it. They're interrupting it because if you heard it by itself, it undercuts their argument.
evacuations in June or July.
Yeah.
Wait,
Read
stop
it
for a second.
out.
Stop for a second.
Why
The
is that the
deadline
marker?
when he took office was May 1st.
Yeah.
Why would we start in June or July?
Because there was no plan to help the Afghans that helped us get out of country, and the process took a long time because there were tens of thousands of them, and including their families, and you needed places for them to go and a way to facilitate vetting them so that they could come to this country or go to other countries and separate anybody who might mean us ill from that crowd. And you didn't want to just leave them there. The Trump administration undermined the CIV program and intentionally was intending to leave behind all of our Afghan interpreters and their families, all of them, not some of them, not the ones that were complicated and that didn't file and weren't kept track of and had been in and out of the system or were in and out of the city or didn't get there until late. No. All of them, with the intention of them all being killed so they're no longer our problem. That was the Trump's plan, the Trump administration's plan. That and never leaving. Then they would all be killed, and then we just we just have a military base up at the top that we would just have to deal with suicide bombers year round.
Right. Saying this as this outlier possibility, it's after the deadline.
Right, which we all watched yesterday that Trump said was bullshit.
That deadline That deadline of August 31st was not arbitrary.
No, I'm saying the May 1st deadline.
No,
he
well,
takes
that one-
office. There's a May 1st deadline.
That one was-
He's saying,
that one
what
was-
if we tried this crazy thing?
That one was what? See, like, this is where Glenn knows that there was no plan to get the Afghans out. We would have been in a bum rush to get Afghan Christians out. Glenn couldn't fly in like the 3rd of May or the end of April. He had stuff to do. He was on vacation.
Where we started evacuations after the deadline.
That deadline was arbitrary. The August 31st was not.
That was designed to save American lives. I forgot about that.
That one was designed to save American lives. The May 31st, that was crazy and reckless.
First.
That was just crazy and reckless. And
No, it was just, according to Trump, it was bullshit. I mean, Glenn, you guys might want, I know you watched Biden's speech. You might want to watch OAN's interview with Donald Trump, where he said the May 1st date was horseshit. It was just horseshit. The drawdown would have taken 2 years. And I'm certain as the Taliban took over the country and as we started, and by the way, we're going to take out all the embassy personnel and all the governmental support force in the middle of the night, nobody would have known they were gone. Why
would we start in advance? Why would we do that?
Yeah.
Let's get everybody to panic and rush to the airport, which, do you know what a kill box is?
Do you know what a kill box is? Yeah, tell them what a kill box is. Let me guess. Is it the one that has the spicy nuggets in there? Is that what it is, Glenn? Is it the one that, like, if you eat them all at once, is it that ribs thing where if you eat all the ribs, hold on. I think I know what a kill box is. Glenn, you ever get like too many nuggets? We call it, it's not called that at the store, but it's called a kill box. You ever get the kill box? Oh, it's amazing. It tastes it looks so enticing. And you're like, I could totally get like all these nuggets in my belly. And you're like, I'm a big fat bastard. I should be able to eat all of these. I love this stuff. They're Chick-fil-A. They could get them in my face. And yet, halfway through, I'm like, kill me now. That kind of a kill box is a kill box. Fucking hell. Do you know what a kill box is? Fucking listen to this voice. It's like Bob Elliott in Quick Change when he was like, and then the guy pulled out a knife, and I hate knives. Just your bullshit story.
Kill boxes? Anybody know what a kill box is?
Anybody know what a kill box is? It's in a kill box. I heard Don Cheadle say it in Iron Man 2.
Okay, I think maybe you have to have security to know what a kill box is. A kill box.
Yeah, you have to have lived a life where you have personal security. Tell us, macho boy, you have to have security to know what a kill box is. The fuck?
Is when, let's say, this studio, there's one exit out of this studio. Mm-hmm. This is a kill box. Mm-hmm. Somebody is in this. Mm-hmm. This is a kill box.
No. If they enter through the door of the studio and the studio has one exit from the door, this is the kill box. That direction from the door. If they're on the other side of you and decide to kill you, it's no longer a kill box because the exit is behind you and you have a way to get out. But please go on.
Are shooting at us. So what do? The first thing you do is get out of the kill box. We create
We what?
Kill boxes. We put these chutes in, and you all had to funnel through 3 chutes right where the Taliban and ISIS were. We put you in a place where you couldn't get out forward, you couldn't get out backwards, you can't go sideways. It was a kill box.
Well, asshole, they had to root through people's bags to make sure they didn't have bombs in them. They had to narrow those people, which from a wide group to what's your option? What's your suggestion? All right, chuck babies through Constantina wire.
them to design 3 kill boxes and block us in. Why would we do that? Why would we do that? Why?
Well, first of all, we didn't. Never mind the fact that let's see. It's here. Where'd you go? What'd you do? Let me find my article again. They didn't. But apparently they didn't have this story on what's going on the street.gov. And the soldiers that had to vet people as they went in had to narrow who could get through and how many at a time, so they weren't overwhelmed with a crush of fucking people. And it was the overwhelming crush of fucking people that had the bombers in it, not the alleyways that they had actually cordoned off. They didn't get to that point. I mean, go ahead and pretend that they did. Fucking hell, this dipshit.
Weren't our Marines the ones outside protecting the gate and the kill box? So if there was somebody that was coming in with a bomb, we'd shoot them in the head.
How do you know they've got a bomb? There's somebody that's coming in with a bomb, you would shoot them in the head? And you know they have a bomb, like how? And honestly, I mean, I don't know what the magic... Do they have magic bomb detecting scopes?
This whole thing was crazy.
Well, you keep...
Yeah, strategically, you know what? I think it would be good, Glenn, if you guys got some Play-Doh and made a little example fort of how you would have gotten everyone, obviously not in the airport. You would have had them go to the bus station or to Bagram, which is one road, 4 lanes wide, 2 on either side, that, anybody could obviously drive in from the side and blow up. But how you would have gotten them there. Draw us a picture. Use some crayons. Put them between your toes.
You're acting as if this could have gone better.
I know.
He's about to explain.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
It's more sarcasm and verbal irony.
Couldn't have gone better.
Okay, all right.
American troops and evacuating more than 120,000 people in the middle of a civil war. There still would have been a rush to the airport.
Wait.
No.
A breakdown of confidence and
Wait, no. Why would there have been... Trump had a magic plan.
control of the government. And it still would have been very difficult and dangerous mission. The bottom line is there is no evacuation. At the end of a war that you can run without the kinds of complexities, challenges, threats we face.
You know what's really weird? I believe we ended the Civil War that way. I believe we ended the Revolutionary...
Sorry, the Civil War? The Revolutionary War? Did they just end? And that was here, was it? Was it? I'm sorry. Did the South surrender 6,000 miles away?
Or I believe we ended the War of 1812 in a rational way. I think we did the Spanish-American War. I think we did World War I, World War II.
Does anybody want to tell them?
I know when we had all of our troops, and we didn't kill Saddam Hussein or any of his Revolutionary Guard, that they were still sitting there in Iraq. We got all of our guys out without any kind of panic, without any kind of trouble. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, here's the thing. He can't think of any...
We what? We got all... Saddam was still alive and we got all of our guys out in the Iraq War? I guess he's talking about Iraq War I?
Every war ends this way?
Where we weren't in, I don't think.
No war ends this way. All of our other wars didn't end this way. The reason...
Vietnam, anybody?
Why we kept saying Saigon as a worst case scenario is because previous to this, it was the worst case scenario. Now this is the worst case scenario.
And Saigon wasn't on the last day.
Right.
Saigon happened over 30 days.
We had most of the people out. And that's the thing, like...
Yeah, mostly. Yeah, we didn't actually have a deadline with the North Vietnamese.
He's like, oh, well, if you try to evacuate 140,000 people, it's going to be chaos. Yeah, if you try to do it on the same day, sure it is. But when you...
The same day? I think this is a calendar problem. I think they're just having trouble with scheduling things. I think this is why all three of them have a real hard time sticking to a diet.
Have multiple months.
Isn't every day Cupcake Day?
Let's say you started in April. And
I have to say, I don't know about you, but I can't help but feel like that if I ever ran into these guys, each of them would see me and they would see this. Why are you guys staring at me and licking your lips? Why are they both snarling? Why are they crawling over someone get me out of here? All right.
Hey, I don't know. Maybe you did 1,000 people a day. Maybe there's 4 flights a day that leave with people that you needed to evacuate. You could do, let's say...
I'm sorry, what? Maybe there's 4 flights a day that leave with the people that you want? Yeah, oh, wait, hold on. This is good. I want Stu's plan. Let's hear Stu's fucking plan. And I'm sure there won't be any holes in it, and none of those will occur to him while he's saying it.
It is. But when you have multiple months, let's say you started in April. And let's say, I don't know, maybe you did 1,000 people a day. Maybe there's 4.
Yeah, maybe, but let's see. Let's see. U.S. evacuation started in April. Let's just go with that. Let's go check. This is... Mr. Security alert. Hold on. I've got to find the things. There's one of these in here. Longest war, finish the Congo withdrawal, is saying to begin August 12th, list of hold on. Oh, it's giving me because of April, it's giving me the Saigon dates. So hold on. Actuate Afghanistan. Sorry, I should have actually news. Let's see. April 4 something. Let's see. Yeah. All. Got to go back way. Let me go back. News stories way back. Yeah. Let's see. X drink. U.S. to begin evacuating Afghans who aided American military. Published July 14th, but the picture comes from April. Biden administration said Wednesday that it is prepared to begin evacuation flights for Afghan interpreters and translators who used the nearly 20, but their destinations are still unknown, and there are lingering questions about how to ensure their safety until they get on the planes. Operation Allies Refuge flights out of Afghanistan during the last week of July will be available first for special immigrant visa applicants already in process of applying U.S. residency, according to the White House. The reason we're taking these steps is because these are courageous individuals. Psaki said, we want to make sure we recognize the value of the role they played over the last several years. Confirmation on the timeline of the evacuation flights came as Joe Biden met Wednesday with Austin Miller, who earlier this week stepped down as top U.S. commander in Afghanistan. Psaki and Biden said Biden wanted to personally thank Miller for conducting an orderly and safe drawdown of U.S. troops. Let's see. Evacuation planning could potentially affect tens of thousands of Afghans. Let's see. The U.S. forces had already started out, but in July we started moving those folks. But 1,000 You could start 1,000 a day. Is what
Flights a day that leave with people that you needed to evacuate. You could do, let's say, I don't know, 30,000 a month. And over 4 months, you'd have the same amount. Do you think they're...
Yeah. Who are you removing? Just people? All people are the same? People are the same people? They're all the people? They're all the same people? So embassy staff, security staff, just people. Anybody. Like you. Anybody. All right. Whose birthday is in March? All right. Everybody step two steps forward.
Chaos with 4 flights a day?
No. And
there wouldn't.
And if you didn't have the...
Yeah, why didn't Trump do this last year then? This is such a great plan, Stu. Why didn't Trump do this last year? I mean, if you could just start bringing people out and nobody would fucking notice and it wouldn't change a goddamn thing. Well, for Pete's sake, why wouldn't you just... I have one hair in my face and it's like... the fan keeps blowing it in there. I'm like, you can't see it, but I can feel it. It's very weird.
Taliban roll into town.
Right. You protect the...
I'm sorry. You do what? Sorry?
Have the Taliban roll into town.
Right. You protect the city.
Correct. And
you protect the city. Okay, so you set up... All right, Kabul. How big's Kabul? Let's do this. All right, let's do the math. Stu, Glenn, you guys are... I mean, you don't have to get the fucking Play-Doh out. I'll do it. Kabul population. That'll do it. Let's see. Population. Okay. So a city of 4.4 million. And all you've got to do is protect a city of 4.4 million people from the Taliban moving in. Let's see. Maps. We gotta probably bring up. There's Kabul. Oh, that's the Golden Nugget. No, that's not really part of Kabul, is it? All right, here we go. Let's just grab a picture here. Yeah, I mean, what, like one soldier a street? Maybe, how about this? How about one soldier, here you go, the 5th fastest growing city in the world is bursting at the seams. Oh, that's Urbanistan. Urbanization of Kabul. Okay, I see. I read it wrong. Yeah, I mean, this whole area, I mean, you could totally like soldier there, 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 and then just drone strike the shit out of this area if anybody even walks. Somebody herds their goats or goes for a hike, fuck them, just blow them up. And then, of course, let's see, there's a part of, there's Kabul. So there's a bunch of people in the area, let's see, major city, Kabul, let's see, world population, here's top, here you go, here's 5 interesting facts about Kabul. Here's an interesting fact about Kabul. I don't know that you could secure this fucking area, and this is just one area of it, with 10,000 troops. It's a great idea. Oh yeah, I should probably put up the... Yeah, this is brilliant. Let's follow Stu's plan. It's a great plan. I'm for it. Stu's going to totally suggest, like this area right here. This is a whole area. What's wrong with this? I mean, you could totally... Couple of soldiers, you know... There you go. There you go. You could just mix a couple of soldiers in with the crowd. And yeah, you could totally hold this down. What, you know, what would, I'm sure some of these pictures are now coming up that aren't Kabul itself. Hold on. There you go. This is, though. Here you go. Yeah, that guy right there. Yeah, it was indeed. So, yeah. So how many soldiers, how many American soldiers would it take to secure this against the will of the Taliban? Fuck you, Taliban. We're going to hold this city. The Afghan government isn't going to. The Afghan military's already fallen. Some of them are actually joining you and know exactly where we're positioning our troops and all that stuff. So we're gonna hold this. We got 2,500 troops in there. It took 6,000 to carry out the evacuation of 123,000 Americans, Afghans, and civilians and military people in that area. But yeah, you just fucking hold the city, right, Glenn, Stu? How do you pace them out, you fucking stooges?
Given that
Thank you.
opportunity by the Taliban, they called us and said, we're on the outskirts. Would you like to protect the city, or we will? And we said, you do it.
Because we didn't.
Right, because it would take 100,000 fucking troops to fight off ISIS and hold back the Taliban from inside the city as we evacuated people.
Send in more troops because that would violate the dumb fake line that Joe Biden created.
This guy is
Sorry, the dumb fake line that Joe Biden created? You mean May 1st? You mean that we're exiting, don't fire on our people for a year and we'll get everybody out?
I'm going to give it to you, Stu. I'm going to give it to you, Pat. Evil.
Yeah.
It's evil. It's evil what he's doing.
Yeah, why wouldn't Joe Biden want to put in 60 to 100,000 troops to act as police officers for the biggest city in Afghanistan and hold it and secure it with, I guess, every piece of military gear that we hadn't trashed, blown up, or flown out?
And you know, the only caveat on that is he just may be possessed by some, because I think he might be dead. Are you hearing him? It's like some spirit is in him trying to work all the gears and levers so he can talk. And he's like, rescue Afghanistan.
It might be the shit in your ears, Glenn. A lot of us heard the speech and were comfortable with it. He executed the speech very, very well. It just problem is it hits that gear in your head that says he couldn't possibly have any energy because of the whole Sleepy Joe thing. And he's not in control, but he is in control. And he's running things, but he's not running things. So it's all back and forth.
He is out of control. Out of control.
Yeah, he's just raging. It's almost like he was unable to speak, and he almost swore. Oh, that's you. Sorry, my mistake.
Where are the good Democrats? I want to hear.
I'm right here. I'm here. I'm one of the good Democrats. I'm a good Democrat, and I'm here. I'm right here. And Glenn, you're full of shit. And you and Stu and Krusty, whoever the fuck he is, are liars, and your bullshit plan wouldn't have worked and gotten tens of thousands of American troops killed. You seem to be blowing right past Trump's agreement with the Taliban and his May 1st deadline and the special immigrant visa program because it's convenient for you. And that would be, to some people, seen as evil. But I actually think evil is smarter than that, and I think you're just morons.
Because this is a matter of life and death for all of us. This is the end of all credibility for our country.
Why? We said we're leaving, we left. That's credibility. Saying you're leaving for years and still staying is what fucks with your credibility.
Will you just stand and say the president needs to be held accountable for this?
For keeping his word and doing what he ran on? I know you're used to Trump being your leader and doing the exact opposite of that. He ran on getting us out of Afghanistan. He called it stupid wars, forever wars. We have to get out of these things. It's dumb. He wants to do it. But we can't right now. And even when we get out, we're still staying.
Bloodbath debacle.
It's not a bloodbath debacle. 123,000 people getting out. Everybody in the embassy staff. No American civilians were killed even in the bombing. The military that were killed were guarding the area where Afghans were going in. And P.S., a couple of those people had been pulled off, so a couple of congressional representatives had a little extra security while they were there. Prove me wrong.
We didn't even answer our allies' phone calls for 40 hours.
No, he didn't. Yeah, we didn't, because they were the ones going, maybe I can talk him out of it. You mean that bullshit?